This is TNC Movie Nights. I got to be dramatic today because I didn't take my glasses off before filming. But it's not going to be that dramatic today because we decided that since we were talking about all the fun of what it's like going to the theaters, we wanted to just have a super fun movie, one that we both like, one that's really fun to watch, that gave us a reason to watch it again. So we picked Deadpool because I don't know if you can tell by all of the things that you've seen in this room behind Brandon, but he's a bit of a fan. I like him. So
I wouldn't say that.
Yeah, just a touch. See, he's a fan of Deadpool. I just like that they played Shoot by Salt and Pepper in the movie. That's the only reason why I stayed. But, well, I'm just kidding. That movie is a bop, though. Don't sleep on Salt and Pepper. But, I mean, this is going to be one of those gusher episodes. I got to imagine that we're just going to talk about how much we like this movie, and then about 11 and a half minutes from now, we're going to tell them where they can find us. Am I wrong?
No, probably about 8 minutes.
There you go.
It's probably been about maybe close to a year since I've watched this, I think. I felt like it was probably 6 months, but after really rewatching, I was like, nah, it's been a little bit longer. And yeah, it just felt good. I forgot how fun this movie is. And, we'll just go ahead and start with the fun things about this movie, but then I kind of want to get into what this movie did for the superhero genre, because it did a lot. And I'm sure, you can kind of guess what those things are, but we'll get into it a little bit. Maybe if you forgot something or don't know.
We'll do it for you.
Yeah,
that's why we're here. That's why we get paid the big pennies.
The big pennies.
Have we made pennies yet?
Yeah, we've made like a couple dollars.
I haven't seen that.
It's still in the account.
Oh, God.
But
we made it.
Yeah,
you hear that, Mom?
Let's go. But we are gonna just jump into Deadpool again. It's a fun movie. There's a lot of little things in the film that it's like a continuous gag, and it works so well. I mean, the big one to mention is the Francis, what's my name, and then the constant saying it, then not saying it, and then at the end of the film it comes back and says it again, and it's the little things like that are just so quirky with the movie that really just grab your attention. And it's such a small detail. It doesn't really thicken the plot. It's just that little thing you're always being reminded of, which is really neat.
And you know what? Running gags that work are a sign of a movie crew that cares about the movie. Because that's something you have to give a damn about what you're making to be clever. Because being clever means that you're always thinking about how can we make this funnier? What has happened, what's going to happen, that kind of stuff. So if you have a movie that kind of commits to what it's doing, and it doesn't waver from that, but it does it in a way that isn't super campy and annoying and doesn't really hit well, which Deadpool did it beautifully. When you have that, it shows you that everyone who is making this actually cares about it, because they took that time to double check all that and make sure that even just continuity wise everything worked out. So I love movies that do that.
And I wish I could be there in those moments that the person that had the idea to be like, oh, let's do it right here. Let's do it again right here. And then everyone's like, oh my God, yes. That just feels like such a great moment, I bet. And it's really it's cool to get to see those little things again throughout the movie. I mean, and they aren't even always sometimes that are super prominent or, done 5-6 times. Like another one I really enjoy was in the beginning of the film when Deadpool and, oh my goodness, I cannot think of her name. It literally just slipped me.
Sorry, clicky clack haters.
Yeah, sorry. Vanessa, wow. Deadpool and Vanessa in the beginning when they're talking and discussing, and they're like, oh yeah, the first, that house I live in. It's like, oh, you live in a house. And it's like that little gag they do in the beginning.
You had a dishwasher.
Yeah, you had a dishwasher. And it's little things like that. That was such a good moment in the beginning of the movie that no one forgets it because it was so funny. And it's like, this is the first time they meet and become so close. And it's because of the battle that they have back and forth with it. And then they bring it back at the end of the film to really wrap up this wholesome moment to use that with it, which is just so damn cool. And I appreciate it so much.
Yeah, man. This is just a good movie that took way too long by a lot of people that really wanted to make a good movie. And it worked. And I love when it works. And you just, God, what's not to like about it? I mean, even if it isn't your thing, I feel like you gotta respect it for what it is, It just revolutionized the genre. It introduced us to R-rated superhero movies that worked. I mean, some people would be like, you know, there have been comic book movies, but not so much like cut and dry hero villain. I mean, I guess we had like Sin City and stuff like that. And
yeah.
Whatever. But it just worked. It just works. It is Ryan Reynolds. Who doesn't like Ryan Reynolds? Even if you don't love Ryan Reynolds, you at least like Ryan Reynolds, right?
Yeah. He's very likable, and there couldn't have been someone who could do this better.
Man was literally Pikachu.
Yeah, exactly. And this is a fun little mention if people know or don't know, but do you know when Ryan Reynolds started development for this movie?
Yes. It was just after Blade Trinity. I don't remember the year, but I know he was working on it for like 11 years. And I believe the story was his inspiration for his character in Blade Trinity was someone sent him a box of Deadpool comics and said, "This is you." And then he opened the first one, and the first page he saw was Deadpool describing himself as Ryan Reynolds mixed with a radioactive Shar-Pei. And I think that was when he fell in love with it, and then immediately was like, this has to be a thing.
I'll be honest, you beat me on that because I didn't know it was post Blade Trinity, and that's kind of where it came from. But it makes sense because there's a lot of connections with, I guess, like the Deadpool aspect, Blade Trinity, you know, how Ryan Reynolds kind of plays it a little bit. And 2004 is when they started working on it. So yeah, about 11, 12 years. Yeah, it was because it came out in 2004 for that, and then in 2004 that's when he started working on it. So he was definitely doing Blade Trinity at the point when he started getting some very early development for the Ryan Reynolds, for Deadpool from Ryan Reynolds. So
I think it actually might have been after, now that I think about it. I think the story was that someone sent him a box after seeing him in Blade Trinity and was like, This was you. I could have mixed that up. So
well, I will let you know, Blade Trinity came out December 8th of 2004, and the production start for Ryan Reynolds, like trying to figure things out for it, was February 2004.
Oh, so never mind then.
Yeah, I think you were right on the original statement there. So, but yeah,
Crazy, man.
It's stuff like that. I mean, it just shows how much Ryan Reynolds cared about this film. And that's something I really love about Ryan Reynolds. Like, when he really cares about a movie, it's a good time, it's fun. And to kind of bring it up as well, I mean, I thought the movie was going to be kind of but Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard just did a Fury film review for it, and he kills it. I mean, I'll be honest, Samuel L. Jackson and Salma Hayek might have been better than Ryan Reynolds in the movie.
That's not to love about either.
Yeah, exactly.
They're both amazing.
And it's really cool to see him just put so much into his movies. And, like, you never think, like, I feel like Ryan Reynolds phoned that one in. Because when he takes roles, they're roles he really is excited about, which is so cool to see. And it's really funny to see him kind of dog different things in the movie, of like his own life or past roles, like Green Lantern. And I know there's even a point, I think when he actually mentions the whole Ryan Reynolds Shar-Pei thing or whatever it is, he says something about it in the movie. It's just so clever. And another thing that I love, I want to hear your thoughts on, is the fourth wall breaks. I'm a big fan of Ferris Bueller's Day Off. We'll talk about it next month, I'm sure. But fourth wall breaks done well are so good. And then he does the 16th wall break in the movie too. And it's just, it's so incredible on how they did it and how clever it was.
Yeah, it was great. I love fourth wall breaks too, especially when it's just like only one character and then the rest is kind of like, you know, non-breaking the fourth wall. But it can work in so many different ways. And it was fun to see how far they could take that, because everyone kind of already knew that was going to be a thing. Like, anyone who is, whether you've read a Deadpool comic or you've talked to someone who's read a Deadpool comic, you know that's a big part of the character is speaking directly to the reader and sort of messing around with the formation of the universe and stuff like that. And he's not confined to just the boxes on the page. And so going into that, knowing they had that freedom of not having to kind of gracefully walk into that one, I think they were able to just very beautifully make all of these hilarious fourth wall breaks and just got to run with it. And we see it a lot in the second one too, because when you have a very, very quirky character, it's a little risky to just kind of throw them at the audience. You gotta kind of warm everyone up to them, and that's why a lot of the times with super quirky characters you see like The second movie is when they have like the funniest quips or whatever. But I don't know, man. This one, I don't know. I guess you get a little bit of both because they got to be even weirder in the second. But it was just they went right for it and it worked. It was great.
Yeah, and it's, again, a lot of it comes down to how clever they're able to be with it, because there are so many times that they didn't have to do the fourth wall break, they didn't have to do that kind of narration that they did to it, and it was just done so well. It did feel a lot like the comics because, as you mentioned, there's just that back and forth with him in the comics so much. He even has like two different thought bubbles. One is like yellow, one's white, because it's the back and forth between himself and then kind of his inner self, and it's really cool how they do it, and they did a great job in the movie as well. So a lot of love for Deadpool on how they're able to do everything. And something else I really do want to mention is what Deadpool did to the superhero genre as a whole, because I think Deadpool really showed you can make a successful superhero film that is rated R. It doesn't have to be a campy boy wonder type character, because that's what we were kind of in that realm of. When Deadpool came out in 2016, the main focus characters we had was Thor, who's again kind of boy wonder myth god character. I mean, he's not like by any means a rough guy. He does what's good for Asgard. And then we had Captain America, and then we had Iron Man, which is a little bit more in that Deadpool realm, I guess.
Yeah, less Boy Scout.
Yeah, little alcoholic.
Yeah, but even then, it was like they were either frat boys or Boy Scouts. You had like, you could have some combinations of both, but you didn't have a real grungy or that was the other thing. It was either grungy, gritty like Batman, but you didn't have this just kind of woo, what the that sort of stuff.
Yeah, and not only, again, what it did for the kind of Marvel universe. I mean, we saw Venom, which is a Marvel, but it's Sony. We saw them branch out and made Venom, which is more kind of that borderline mercenary type character. We saw Punisher in the TV show kind of get a lot of love. And then even DC. We saw the Snyder Cut, which came out and was rated R.
Yeah, Logan.
Yeah, Logan, exactly. It's funny, I actually just pulled up a list of the top-rated rated R superhero films, and they put Deadpool at last, and it's just like, we just put Deadpool here because I think it would be really funny because it's the best. And I was like, all right.
That was funny.
I was really confused there for a split second. But then I think even, Birds of Prey, I think it really kind of pushed forward on what superhero movies could be and do. We saw rated R films prior that were that superhero stuff. I mean, Constantine technically is like the superhero-ish. Watchmen was prior, but it was just really well done, and it showed they can be extremely successful, just as big as your normal Marvel films.
Yeah, and because that's the thing, is before that they had to make sure to distance themselves from that sort of more stereotypical superhero type movie. It was more like, this is a dark, gritty movie that is based off of a comic book, or this is a horror thriller that's, oh, did you know it was based on a comic book? What? No way. Where Deadpool was one of the first that was just like, we're gonna be all of those things without the Batman grittiness. We're gonna make it rated R, and it is gonna be that sort of more stereotypical superhero movie style to it. We had just protagonist, antagonist. This is what we're doing. He is a superhero. Here is a supervillain. Go fight. That sort of stuff, and it just worked.
Yeah, and I'm really excited to see what we can get from Marvel and DC for additional rated R, a little more, not even just gritty, but different rated R films. And it will be very interesting to kind of see where they're able to go. We'll be getting a Deadpool 3 soon from Disney. Fingers crossed that Disney doesn't put their hands on it a little too much and let them just kind of run with it, which they've said they want to do. So, awesome. I really hope so. But, I think that's going to do it. A little longer than we even thought for a Deadpool review today, to kind of just get into what it's done and how important Deadpool is to the Marvel and DC universe even. So
I'm excited to see where it goes from here.
Yeah.
But until we get there, Brandon, Yeah, I'm looking at the microphone. Till we get there, Brandon, tell the people where they can find us.
You can find us real nice and simple at thenerdchambers.com. You can find all of our content there. You know, we have our teensy movie nights. We have little episodes here and there that go up. We do have an anime show coming soon. We have Commander and You, the Nerd Chambers podcast we do every once in a while. And then, of course, we have myself and Manny streaming all the time, twitch.tv/TNCPenguin, that's mine. And then twitch.tv/ The Nerd Chambers, for the main channel. A lot of streams. We're streaming every day at this point. So it's been a lot of fun. Check out the YouTube channels if you missed the stream. Check out the highlights. But finally, and if you want to support the show, as you can see with Alex back there, go and get some merch if you want. We really do appreciate it. And again, if not, just subscribe, follow, share the content. We really do appreciate it. So thank you so much for swinging by. I think we'll have Alex probably here again in the next week or two, maybe, hopefully. And until then, we will see you next time.
Rad.